I'ma fight till I pass out. Taking flight, every hater I strike in a slash now. No time for the chat now. I grind for the glory, I'll fight for the last round. Y'all die in the background. My time of the shining bright lights coming fast now. One smoke, never back down. I'm down for the battle, that's right, cause I'm maxed out.
My face on the front page.
What?
Got paid for the gunplay.
What?
Popped off, got some shots off. I'm a rock star when I hunt game. Warrior.
What is up, ladies and gentlebots? What is going on? It is time for another episode of VR365. It is Thursday. It is December 19th, and we are a little bit after 5 o'clock. What was I going to say here? I had something to say, and now I completely forgot about it. But anyway, folks, yeah, so we've got an interesting show for you guys today. Let me see here. What were some of the things that we wanted to get into? So one of the main things I want to get into today is Westworld Awakening. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're going to definitely be talking about some Westworld Awakening. I am incredibly late to the party on Westworld Awakening, but I got to imagine a lot of you guys are late to the party on Westworld as well. You probably were waiting for a sale, which is what I was waiting for, grabbed it for $10, tried it out for the first time. Impressions are coming up very soon. Another thing that I did want to get into on today's episode is we are in the month of December. In fact, we're nearing Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, not that far away at all, right? New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, not that far away. So it is Game of the Year time. It's time for the Game of the Year thing. But the one thing I got to tell you guys is I'm not in a rush to judge things. No rush to judgment here, man. I like to take my time. I like to smell the flowers. I like to examine the rose petals. And that's what we're going to do. So the Game of the Year discussion begins. It begins. It doesn't end today. It begins. And how does it begin? It begins with January. It begins with February. So what I'm going to do is just like I did it last year. Now, last year, you got to remember, I was doing daily shows. So we had shows every single day. Remember that? Does anybody remember when I used to do daily shows? How effing crazy was I? But yeah, we used to do daily shows. And so obviously when you do daily shows, you got so much time to do things because you're doing a show every day. So if you got to do like 20 things to lay something out, you got 20 days to do it. It's not a big deal. It's easy, right? Well, now we're not doing daily shows, but I still want to take my time with this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look at January and February of this year. We're going to look at the best VR games to arrive in January and February this year. And then I'm going to have my game of the month for January and February. I'm going to have my runner-up for January and February. And those games automatically get into the final running for ultimately Game of the Year 2019. So it's a process. It's a long process. It's going to take time. It's going to be a lengthy process. And I'm not in any rush at all. There's no rush at all. I got all the time in the world. I could give my Game of the Year award on February 1st if I want to do that. So I'm going to take my time. We're not in any kind of a rush. So we're going to cover that. I am going to talk about Deathlap very briefly. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on Deathlap. I'm also going to talk about continuing to play Boneworks. And we're going to start things off with a little bit of mailbag. So we're going to start things off with Da Quest Killer. Remember that? Remember Da Quest Killer. Everybody loves Da Quest Killer. So last Sunday, I did an episode on Twitch where I was basically let me go ahead and I might as well grab one of these little videos that I made. I spent so much time trying to freaking make these little things. So I guess I might as well grab one of these little videos, right? Hold on one second. We're talking Quest Killer. Quali. Okay, so last Sunday, I did an episode on Twitch where I was talking about what I felt was one of the best kept secrets in VR gaming. And, I've always said that VR 365 is one of the best kept secrets in VR gaming. And this Qualcomm XR2 platform, also one of the best secrets in VR gaming. Westworld Awakening, one of the best kept secrets in VR gaming. So there's lots of best kept secrets. But I wanted to talk just a little bit about this because I forgot a major point when it came to this Qualcomm deal here, when we're talking about the Quest Killer. And the thing that I forgot, controllers. I forgot all about controllers. Man, and that is such a big issue when you're talking about a platform, when you're talking about a new hardware paradigm that is going to sweep the nation in the fourth quarter of 2020 when the first XR2 platform arrives, courtesy of HTC. That's my prediction, actually. That is my Nostradamus Jr. prediction. HTC, guys, is going to kill the Quest. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that HTC was going to kill the Quest? But that's going to happen next November. But what I forgot about was the controllers. And that is a really big thing to forget about because let's face it, if you don't have quality controllers, you can get the F out of Dodge. We've seen this already. Look at the Windows mixed reality platform. Does anybody like Windows mixed reality headsets? Hell no. Why? Because you can only use them if you're sitting down and you're playing like a steering wheel game, because then the controllers are irrelevant. Or you're sitting down and you're using like an Xbox controller because you're playing like some kind of third-person game that was brought to VR. But if you actually have to use legit motion controllers, you want to get as far away from the Windows mixed reality platform as humanly possible. Those controllers are garbage on a stick. We know that. We're very well aware of that. Then, well, HTC, right? That's my prediction. HTC is going to deliver one of these platforms. They're going to have Viveport Infinity on a mobile platform. That's the strategy here, in my personal Nostradamus opinion. But if you think about HTC and you think about the Vive Cosmos, those controllers, craptacular as well. Incredibly heavy, ginormous. I mean, those controllers are huge. I remember when I saw the very first video or picture, and it was Nathy with a Vive Cosmos, and he had the Vive Cosmos controllers in his hands, and I'm telling you, dude, some of those Vive Cosmos controllers were almost as big as Nathy's head. They're ginormous. They're huge. And they run out of battery juice hella fast and all of that. So controllers are an issue. Like, I have no idea what kind of controllers these things are going to have. And that is a major question mark. But I thought we would take a quick look at some mailbag. There was a lot of response. It was a really good response, actually, to that video. I'm sure lots of people really hated me. I'm sure that I didn't really please the Oculus Quest fan base in a major way. For anybody that happened to have discovered that video, they probably, some people probably got triggered by it, Well, why don't we go ahead and check out that video? Let me go ahead and let's bounce over to the Webinator. And so here we are. This is the Webinal. And if I can get the right thing here. Okay, so here we are. Yeah, you can see I got 105 likes on that video. I got 13 dislikes, which is a little bit abnormal. Usually it'd be, 105 likes, that's actually pretty decent. But usually there might be 2 or 3 dislikes. 13 is kind of on the high side. But lots of good comments. Unfortunately, I ran out of time. I wanted to isolate some of the most interesting comments that people had about these things, and I wanted to kind of answer some of these questions. Okay, so Raging Beard, this is 3 days ago. It got upvoted quite a bit. He says, regarding your excitement over the trailer and how it overlays the stairs, I think there's about as much chance of that as there was of the Kinect fulfilling what its trailer portrayed. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting point, absolutely. Vanishing Realms is coming to all of our homes. You know, all of our homes are going to be turned into incredible forts in Vanishing Realms. It's going to be awesome, man. We're going to be running around in our backyard, jumping on lily pads. It's going to be amazeballs, bro. Yeah, I know. Trailers lie in a major way. So Raging Beard, pretty good point there. Salar Amir was talking a little smack about Nathi on this one. I better not get to that. But what I will say in defense of Nathi on that story had just broke. So I doubt Nathi read a ton of articles about that story and really knew all that much about it when we were talking about that. And Nathi coming on that show was completely out of the blue. There was no preparation whatsoever. He had no idea what I was going to talk about. So not really fair. Eric Jorgensen says, the Quest Killer, ha 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 ha. Content is king. Does not matter how good the HMD is if there are no developers supporting it. Oculus has spent many millions of dollars over a couple of years building content. Is Qualcomm going to do that? No. Well, Eric Jorgensen, bro, Qualcomm is not bringing this thing out. I said it in the video a number of times. The box is not going to say Qualcomm on it. It's going to say Samsung, or it's going to say Acer, or it's going to say Hewlett-Packard, or it's going to say Lenovo, or it's going to say HTC, or it's going to say Google, or I mean, I don't know. I don't know who's bringing one of these babies out, but it's not going to say Qualcomm. Qualcomm is not bringing this out themselves. They've made a reference design. For example, can you buy a Windows mixed reality headset from Microsoft? No, you can't. You can buy them from Lenovo, you can buy them from Samsung, Acer, Hewlett-Packard, etc., etc. Microsoft made a reference design that 7 or 8 companies basically took that reference design and decided to bring headsets out based on that reference design. And none of the boxes have a gigantic Microsoft logo on it as like it's coming from Microsoft. I said that a number of times. So I don't know what to say about that. Let's see. I'm going to continue to scroll down here and see. Okay, here's Ophilium Sinster something. Okay, it says XR2. I got to say that you're in the hype train with this one, man. I'm trying to unboggle your mind here. I think you're noticing everyone else sleeping on this because an initial chip announcement is not even close to public availability. It's because there's no way that anyone out there could put all the features this chip allows into a 400 headset this or next year. Okay, and then he goes on and on. Now, first of all, number one, public availability is next year. I said that. At the end of next year, okay? So the very first headset based on this is probably a year from like right now. It's probably November of 2020. Also, he's talking about there's no one that's going to put all these features together into a $400 headset. Did I ever say that? No, I said one of the biggest problems is price. I think the price of this thing, $699.99. That's another Nostradamus Jr. special. First one, HTC is going to be the one to do it. Viport Infinity hits mobile platforms in a major way. 700 buccarinis, not 400. Okay, Scion VR, our very own Scion VR. What games are you going to play on these new standalone headsets? Oculus Quest is a good library of games. These new headsets won't have any games. Well, obviously, no idiot company is going to bring out a headset with no games. Now, we got to back up, though, and realize this. One of the number one things we need to realize is we do not know with absolute certainty, folks. We don't know with absolute certainty that this is even going to be a consumer-faced product. This might not be consumer-faced at all. This might be for location-based entertainment centers. This might be for B2B type of stuff. This may not be focused towards consumers. That's a possibility. I'm just excited about this in case it is. Now, if it is focused towards consumers, then obviously you've got to have a library of games. You don't release a VR headset with no games or experiences. You have a library. you got to start out with at least like 25, 30 things, 30 pieces of content in some kind of store. Now, think of all the Quest developers that are out there that might want to they might want to put their game on multiple platforms. They spent a lot of time and money banging away on the Snapdragon 835 processor. They learned a lot of lessons on how to squeeze their high-end PC VR game onto that 835 processor. Are you telling me that those developers are not going to be interested in possibly leveraging that code base and bringing it to another platform? I tend to disagree. Now, maybe the biggest ones aren't going to care because it's going to be too small for them. But you're telling me Ian Fitz, who made Thrill of the Fight, is not going to be interested in possibly selling it to an entirely new audience? I think he is. And I think whatever company decides to bring this thing out, Hewlett-Packard, whoever it is that does it, I think they're probably going to have some kind of pool of money that is set aside to entice developers like Ian Fitz, the developer that did the Thrill of the Fight, or maybe White Door Games with Dreadhalls. All these different games that are hitting the Quest, not big, gigantic, ginormous games like Star Trek Bridge Crew. I'm not saying that Ubisoft is going to want to jump on this platform, but there's a lot of developers that are making games for the Quest. They would love to leverage their game to another thing. Okay, Ragdoll Coon, with a very interesting username, of course. Constructive criticism. The tone and attitude of Ranthony for the first 5 minutes is a bit full on. Would be nice to hear your points in a more laid back way. Yeah, I was a little bit out of control. I'm not even going to lie. In fact, honestly, well, see, one of the things that I got to say here is that entire diatribe that I went into, it wasn't, I'm not really that big of a champion of the Qualcomm XR2. I don't even have Qualcomm stock. The way I was acting, it was like I'm the biggest shareholder of Qualcomm, period, and I'm the biggest cheerleader of the XR2 platform. And the truth of the matter is, half of it was being kind of snarky and just playing around. And I like to be devil's advocate sometimes. And I like to be like, yeah, man, this thing's going to kill everything. And I'm kind of half serious, half joking. And long-term fans of this show probably know that. But I'm sure there's a lot of new people that came out of the blue that were like, what is up with this dude? This dude is out of control. Okay, Hussein X. Hussein X in chat. Here's your comment, Hussein X. And Hussein X, you're out of control, bro. You're out of control. Okay, so here's what Hussein X says. Quest Lite, which is the current model, and a higher priced Quest Pro can easily be sold at the same time. Also, maybe why Quest stock runs out quick because Oculus doesn't want to overproduce Quest Lite. Quest Pro is on its way, along with mid-range Quest Standard. Yeah, this is exactly what Facebook has always been dreaming about. Facebook wants as many SKUs as humanly possible. They don't have enough confusion already with the Oculus Go selling for $129.99. Everybody and their mama's cousin buying an Oculus Go, putting them under the Christmas tree. The kid gets the Oculus Go and he's like, where's the controllers? There's only one and it's like a freaking TV remote. Where's the controllers, man? I'm not playing Beat Saber, man. There's no 6 DoF. Dude, Oculus already has problems with confusion. Rift S, Rift, hand tracking, no hand tracking, Oculus Quest link cables. They've got enough confusion as it is. We do not need multiple Quest headsets. See, the point I was trying to make back then on that episode, one of the things I needed to break down to folks is whenever a company releases a product that is such a key product for the company, like the original Oculus Quest or the original PlayStation VR or the Valve Index. The Valve Index is actually a great example. So when Valve comes out with the Valve Index, they realize that the second they release the Valve Index, it is done. They can't make any changes to the thing. They're stuck for at least 3 years. Because if you try to come any earlier, you're going to piss off your consumer base to no end. So they know that it's locked in stone for 3 years. And it's a timing thing. Facebook is just in a bad spot for timing for this particular headset, this particular technology that is coming next November, courtesy of HTC, $699.99, Viveport Infinity Mobile, coming to a theater near you, folks. But Oculus is simply not in the right spot for the right time. The timing's not right. In fact, spring 2021, still too early. Still too early for a new headset. That's only 2 years. People are going to be buying Oculus Quests next Christmas, and you think they wouldn't be pissed like a mofo if Oculus came out with a Quest 2 in spring? Not going to happen. No, we're not talking Pimax here. We're talking behemoth corporations here. Behemoth corporations don't want to piss off Sally and Joe, Joe Walmart, Sally Walmart. Oculus doesn't want to do that, man. They want to scan you for all the freaking consumer data they can. And they need 3 years of your tracking to know everything you like and to be able to scan every item you have in your house so they can sell you replacement items. They're not going to flood the market with unlimited headsets. That's a Pimax move. Get some artisan bread while you're at it. All right, so anyway, that is the mailbag, and we'll go ahead and move off of that. But yeah, that was fun. I had fun. It was a fun episode. I wasn't 100% serious. People did take me 100% serious, and that's okay. That's okay. I like it. All right, so let's see. Why don't we start off? We are going to do this Game of the Year discussion. We're going to start right here, folks. We're going to start right now. And I'm a thorough mofo, okay? I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm thorough. And I like to go month by month. No rush to judgment here, no spin zone. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with January 2019. And I made a little clip of the games of January 2019, and we're going to talk about this real quick. So first of all, let's go ahead and run the clip. So what I'm going to do here, folks, I'm going to go ahead and pump the volume up. Actually, there's no volume on this video, but I'm going to pump it up anyway. I'm going to make it full screen, this Qualcomm thing right here, the Quest Killer. We're going to make that puppy full screen, and then I'm going to run a very short trailer that features the best games of January 2019, and we're going to, talk about them a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and pump this volume, and I'm going to switch over, and I'll see you guys in just a second here. Alrighty, well, that's it, folks. That is literally it. Those are the best VR games of January 2019. I could only find 4 of them that I really feel qualify to be considered as potential games of the month for January and possibly games of the year. Now, another thing I got to mention too is you guys might be, oh, da-da-da came out in January. Blah, blah, blah came out in January. No. No. I don't do the fake release dates. Remember Beat Saber? Like, when I'm trying to figure out what games came out in what month, there's all these fake dates, games coming out of early access that have been around for 2.5 years and shit, trying to pretend like they're a 2019 release. Nah. That stuff don't fly here. I don't do the fake release dates. So I only deal with games that actually came out this year. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. What do we have here? Best VR games of January 2019. We do have Tabletop Gods, which arrived on January 7th. Megalith, which arrived on January 8th. That, of course, was a PlayStation VR exclusive. A Fisherman's Tale arrived. That should be January 22nd. That's a mistake right there. January 22nd for A Fisherman's Tale. That arrived on PlayStation VR and, of course, PC VR platforms as well. Very, very recently arrived on the Oculus Quest, but we're talking about January here. And Derail Valley was a late January arrival. January 25th is when Derail Valley arrived on the scene. Okay, so what I want to do in terms of how I'm going to break this down is I'm going to pick a game of the month, and I'm also going to pick a runner-up of the month. Okay, so every month is going to have a game of the month. Every month is going to have a runner-up. And then at the very end, we're also going to have a number of wild cards. Maybe they weren't game of the month. Maybe they weren't even runner-up, but they get in as a wild card. For example, you have a month where like 5 big bangers come out. Only one of them could be game of the year. Only one of them could be runner-up, but some of them may get in on the wild card ticket. All right. And then we're going to end up with a final list of the bangers of all bangers, maybe 25 of them, maybe 30. I don't know. It'll depend. And then we'll do the real game of the year. But what is my game of January? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let me see. My game of January might surprise you. Is there anybody want to think, what is my game of January? Is it Tabletop Gods? Is it Derail Valley? Is it A Fisherman's Tale? Is it Megalith? Which one am I picking for game of the year? I will give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and I'll go ahead and show you. So there is my game of the year. Well, not game of the year. My game of January 2019, Tabletop Gods. Yeah, Tabletop Gods. Everybody probably thought I was going to go with A Fisherman's Tale. I like A Fisherman's Tale. I do. I really do like A Fisherman's Tale. But honestly, I like Tabletop Gods more. Tabletop Gods is damn good. Tabletop Gods is a game that is slipping way under the effing radar and has slipped way under the radar. I believe Tabletop Gods is a solid game. And, just a great job that they did there with Tabletop Gods. I think, well, see, the thing is, real-time strategy and VR gaming, man, it goes together so well. It just works so well together. And see, originally, I thought that Brass Tactics was like this incredibly unique thing that was hard to do. But as time goes on, you just start realizing that this genre, real-time strategy and VR, they're just absolutely made for each other. I mean, a marriage made in heaven. And we've seen that because there's going to be multiple contenders in this category, the real-time strategy category for VR. There's going to be multiple of them that are going to be considered for Game of the Year 2019. But that's my pick of January. Now let's go ahead and see what is my runner-up pick. This should not be a big shocker. This was probably the one that everybody thought I would choose for my game of January. My runner-up pick is A Fisherman's Tale. Yeah, this is a really good game. I mean, it's a cool puzzle game. We got to remember the price. Like, a lot of people shit on this game a little bit because it's like, oh man, this only took me like an hour and 20 minutes. First of all, if it only took you an hour and 20 minutes, you're a friggin' genius, okay? Because you never got stuck on any puzzle. I got stuck on multiple puzzles. I loved the way the scale worked. I loved the different perspectives. Man, this game, honestly, I was playing A Fisherman's Tale and I started to wonder, am I inside a snow globe right now? I mean, you know, you start to wonder about things. And any game that can make you wonder about your own reality, you know, do you ever question your reality? What, Dolores? Do you ever question your reality? Any game that can make you wonder about your own reality definitely deserves some serious love. So anyway, that is our runner-up pick for January. So both of those games are in the mix. Tabletop Gods and A Fisherman's Tale, both in the mix for possible Game of the Year consideration. So that's how we do it. Now, before this show's over, I'm also going to go ahead and get into the February stuff. Unfortunately, I was starting to make a February montage that would have all the trailers. Ran out of time, wasn't able to do it prior to the show. I would have had to delay the show like another 40 minutes. Didn't want to do that. So I do not have a montage for February, but we can go over the games of February and cover that really quick. Okay, so now what we're going to do, though, let's get into something different. Let's talk about a game that came out a while ago that I sleeped on like a mofo. I mean, talk about sleeping on a game like a mofo. So let me go ahead and pop this puppy on the screen. So yeah, we remember when Westworld Awakening arrived on the scene. And it was a shocker, wasn't it? I think when Westworld, like there was no announcement of a game, like no one knew that a Westworld game was coming. Like Westworld came completely out of the blue when it came out. Nobody was prepared for it. And then we're like, Servios? Oh shit, Servios did it and it's Westworld? Damn, this is freaking legit, right? Now the price was $29.99, $30. So some of us were like, that's kind of harsh. And then a number of people that jumped on a grenade for the boys and they grabbed this game right away and started playing it right away. Some people were saying, it's kind of good, it's kind of not good. You know, there were some mixed messages early on. I did not get a review key for this. I tried to get one, I didn't get one. And if I don't get a review key, it's $30. And I'm like, it's $30. I didn't get a review key. What do I do? And then I also started hearing some people talk about there's spoilers, that there might be some spoilers for this. Like if you have not watched season 2 of Westworld, there may be spoilers, right? And so I was like, man, I haven't seen season 2 of Westworld. So I got a little bit nervous about that. And I'm like, I don't want Westworld to be spoiled because I really enjoyed season 1 of Westworld for the most part. I enjoyed it for the most part. And I didn't really want to spoil it. So I was late to the party. I completely missed this, but I knew that if there ever was a really good sale, that I would have to check it out. Okay, I want you guys to watch this part right here. I'm going to turn up the volume. Let's watch a couple seconds of this.
Let me introduce myself. Miss Wesson.
So, she showed up at the house alone
Yes, I noticed. If the hook doesn't work, what's the point?
again. Hey, I thought the kitchen knife was...
Kitchen knife is horror schlock.
Hell yeah, it's horror schlock. He's a slasher villain, it's classic.
Slashers are anachronistic. It's Westworld, Lyle, 19th century. Have a little dignity.
Dignity doesn't sell. We're trying to resurrect an old...
Okay, so I wanted to show you guys that particular scene right there because here's the thing. So Westworld went on sale, bought it, I've been wanting to check this out for a while now. I did watch season 2 very recently, in fact, went through all of season 2 so that I would be ready. If there was a sale, I'd be able to jump on this and I would be able to experience Westworld. And I gotta be honest with you guys, because in the very beginning, when I first started playing Westworld, I was not that impressed by it at all. In fact, I can easily see somebody buying this game, playing it for about 15 minutes when you're first in this Old West house and you're just walking around looking at stuff. I could easily see somebody playing this and being like, this sucks. I don't like the way this feels. I don't like the way my movement feels. I don't like the way it feels when I'm picking stuff up. I was disappointed. Like, I was legitimately disappointed when I first started playing Westworld, but when I got to the point where I died, that's where the magic happens. When you die, they do such a good job. Like, when I first died, and then it goes completely black, and then you start hearing voices and stuff, and you realize you're in the laboratories of Delos. When I died, and I saw that lady, dude, the character models, oh my God, they did such an incredible job with the character models and everything. I mean, I was like, wow, this is some next level stuff here. But in the very beginning, I was actually really quite disappointed with this. I was like, Servios, bro, like, what's going on, Servios? And I have complaints. I have definite complaints about this. But some of this stuff blew me the F away. Okay, this part right here, chapter 2. Now, it is my opinion that if you take a diehard Westworld fan of the TV series and you force them to play chapter 2, they're buying a Valve Index. They're buying a Rift S. When they're done, they are buying a VR headset. I would say probably 65%. I'm talking hardcore Westworld fans. As long as they don't get motion sick or whatever, this part right here, I was freaking blown the F away. I don't know what that guy was doing with the door there. I'd grabbed this like gameplay footage and he walks right into the electricity and gets zapped a number of times. But when I was walking through these rooms right here, I was like, damn, Servios killed it. They absolutely killed it. I've never felt, honestly, this is it's magical. It's magical what they did here. I was dumbfounded by what I experienced in this area because I've watched this TV show and I never thought that I would be inside the TV show, quite to the degree that I was inside the TV show in this experience, because you really feel like you were on the set of Westworld. They did such a good job with this part of it. Now, I don't really know about like the Wild West stuff and all of that. Maybe not the greatest job with all of that, but with this, holy shit, they killed it. Servios, I'm telling you, it's another one of those situations where the ball just came down the plate and it was just knocked the shit out of the park. Servios absolutely killed it. When it comes to vibe and atmosphere, okay, vibe and atmosphere. Dude, the dead bodies on the ground, impressive. You know you did some good shit with some dead bodies if somebody is willing to like stop and really look at the dead bodies that they're seeing on the ground. Like that lady over there that was like a Westworld employee, I was looking at, I was like, wow, they did a good job with these human characters, really good. But you know what the most impressive part of this whole entire thing is? And honestly, I want to find out the person at Servios that designed the computer screens, the AR screens, all the little digital things, the tablet. They did a magnificent job. I don't have an image here. I wish I had like an image of exactly what I'm talking about. But like, see that AR like computer monitor that's over there? See, the thing about the AR computer monitor and like the tablets and stuff like that, in most video games, when you're looking at a fake computer monitor, it's gibberish on the screen. It's not real shit, and it's not very clear, and it's not very dialed in. It's designed in such a way where if you're walking by quickly, you happen to glance over at like a little computer monitor, oh, there's stuff moving around on the computer monitor. It kind of looks like letters. It kind of looks like images. Pretty cool, right? No, this is on another level. This is on another level. You can actually go up to these computer screens. You can look at the computer screens. The words are real English words. Like this is the first time I've ever seen computer screens that look this accurate. The tablet is super cool. You actually take your finger and you touch different buttons on the tablet. You're selecting things and the tablet is crystal clear. Like, I don't know what these wizards did, man, at Servios. Like, you're walking through these hallways and stuff and there's pictures on the desks. Like, you'll walk by somebody's desk, there's pictures of German Shepherd puppies. German Shepherd puppies. Is there anything cuter on planet Earth than a German Shepherd puppy? Hell no. German Shepherd puppies are about the cutest thing you'll ever see in your entire life. But I picked up this picture on somebody's desk. It was some German Shepherd puppies. It was in the sunshine. And I took the picture and I went over towards where like a lamp was, where it was like more lit. I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, this looks like real life. This looks like real life. When did somebody sneak a freaking HP reverb up in my house? Because everything looks so clean and so crisp. But you know what the number one thing was in this whole entire thing? Okay, so you guys have heard of like the Microsoft Surface. You know those Surface tables where they had the table, like the real Surface. I'm talking about like, it was going to be like $10,000 and stuff. They were making these computers that were like a table. And so you go up to the table and it's like a computer on the table. Okay, so they have these in here. But see, what is more impressive about these computers that are on the table is that some of them are like broken. The glass is shattered on them and it looks so realistic. The way the glass is shattered, it looks so realistic. And then the video that's playing underneath, it's all scrambled and it's tweaking and it's like, you know, it's all garbled and stuff. It looks flawless, man. I was in there last night. I was looking at this stuff. I was like, oh my God, these mofos just freaking killed it. I mean, absolutely killed it when it comes to vibe, when it comes to atmosphere, just absolutely killed it. And I'm only specifically talking about these like laboratory levels, okay? I don't know, like the Wild West part of it, not that impressed. Another thing that I am impressed with this game, there's voice work all over the place, okay? And the voice work is very, like, for example, let's listen to a little bit of this. They're probably talking.
Access codes are like keys. They unlock doors for you.
God, there are so many bodies. Is this what purgatory looks like?
Normally, no. But something's gone wrong, and now we all...
Dude, the production value is off the chain link fence. Okay, so you have this person that is talking to you in your head. Sounds almost exactly like that one chick that's in Westworld Season 2. You know, that one chick, she always wears her hair in a ponytail, like brunette. I forget what her name is. But it sounds like the same voice actress. I don't know that it is her, but sounds like her. Does a damn good job. And the clarity, crystal clear. Okay, and then the lady that you're playing, like you're playing a lady, you're not Dolores, you're Kate Wesson or something like that, right? Okay, so you're Kate Wesson, but it sounds like the actress that plays Dolores. Like she does and if it isn't her, she's doing an incredible impression of that same character because it sounds almost exactly the same. Clarity is off the charts. All of it, and the timing of everything. Like you walk into a certain room, bam, it starts this little discussion going on. The timing of everything is very good. Holy smokes, I am so impressed. The thing that boggles my mind about this game. See, when this game came out, there were a number of people saying, Anthony, you've really got to play Westworld Awakening. Anthony, you should really play Westworld Awakening. There was a number of people that were saying that, you know, but not as many as should have been saying that. There should have been people saying this is game of the year. Like when this came out, this is game of the year. Well, maybe it's because I got to take a sip of water. Hold on, my throat is killing me. We'll listen to this for a quick second, and I'm going to get a sip of water.
It should pop off.
Dead bodies, locked doors. It's like I'm back at Biltmore Manor again.
There should be a box in the room on the wall. It'll have a bright yellow strip on it.
A box with a yellow strip. Maybe I can scan for it? Seems to find everything else.
Okay, sorry about that. I definitely had to get a sip of water. Okay, so yeah, man, I was completely blown away by how good this is. Now, I'm still early in the game, and maybe I'll change my mind with it. Not a big fan of the Wild West part, and I have tons of complaints. This is not a perfect game. This is not even close to being a perfect game. In fact, let me give you some of my complaints. Hold on a sec. Okay, Westworld Awakening thoughts. Yeah, I wrote down some thoughts about it. Okay, so I've got a lot of complaints about Westworld. Like, this is not, like, I'm not saying everything is perfect with this game. There's a lot of problems. Okay, first of all, when you first start the game and you're in like this Wild West area and you're looking around this house, okay, there's pictures, like photographs, newspapers, little written letters, all over the damn place, which is really cool. Like, normally that's really cool. It's environmental storytelling. We've talked about this a million times. I'm a big fan of environmental storytelling. It's the best way, like stopping and doing a cut scene and having some, or reading a big dialogue thing, like where like subtitles and all. No, use environmental storytelling. So I feel good about that. That was a great job that they did. But here's the downside. I'm looking at all these different pictures. Like, there's seriously, on some of the tables, there's like 25 photographs. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm not even overestimating. There's literally like 25 photographs on some of these tables. You pick up the photographs, you're looking at them. I'm looking at some of these photographs. Some of them are pretty good, but some of them, I looked at the photograph, I'm like, this is not good. This is one of the devs, and one of the devs wearing a cowboy hat and in black and white. And it's like a lot of them were like, okay, this is the dev, this is the secretary, here's the janitor at Servios, but wearing cowboy hats and in black and white. I'm not even playing, man. And because you can look at these pictures of people and it's like, this person is from the year 2018. They may be wearing a cowboy hat. It may be black and white, but this person is from the year 2018. This is not a Wild West person. And I was a little bit disappointed with that, because isn't there, in the public domain, aren't there enough pictures from like real Wild West type people, like pictures that were really taken in like 1855 and stuff like that? Aren't there pictures like that, that they could have used instead of taking the dev out to the tundra, put a cowboy hat on him real quick, take a picture, make it black and white and call it a day? I was really disappointed with that part of it. Okay, another thing I was hella disappointed with the story. Oh my God, dude. Okay, wait, I'm gonna start this trailer over because I want to go back to the Wild West part of it. Westworld. Okay. Yeah, the story at the very beginning was laughable to me. Okay, it was. So here's minor spoilers for like the first 15 minutes of Westworld Awakening. Okay, the story. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers at all, this is just chapter 1. These are chapter 1 spoilers about the story, like what is actually going on here, okay? But I have to talk about it because I got to, because it almost, honestly, when I was playing this part before I died, I was thinking this was a dud. Like, it's one of the most miraculous switches, in my opinion, of something, from playing this little part right here to when I first died and woke up in Delos in the laboratory. Oh shit, it was like, whoa. But anyway, so here's minor spoilers. The minor spoilers is this. The story of this game is that you're Kate Wesson, right? And you are inheriting somebody's estate and all the grounds. You're basically inheriting this house. But what you find out is that there was like 23 other people that were going to inherit this house before you did. And all 23 people were murdered. Like every single one of them was murdered. I mean, I was looking at all these pictures and all these letters, and it's like, this person was murdered. This person was murdered. This person was murdered. This person was murdered. I was like, really? Really? Okay, so Servios, whoever wrote the story, you need to get some, I don't know what to say about that. But the story was incredibly unbelievable about all these people getting murdered. Like I can imagine a family where like maybe 3 people got murdered. I can't imagine a family where 27 people got murdered, okay? And that's literally how this thing starts off. You're supposed to believe that like 23 people got murdered, and now you're next in line to inherit the estate or whatever. I thought it was pretty freaking awful, to be completely honest with you. But you know what? All that washed over like nothing, because when I got to this part right here, and when I got into the Delos part, when I started seeing the human characters, oh my God, dude, there's this one scene where you have the tablet, the lady is talking to you, and she's asking you to take control over some of the hosts, over some of the robots, and you literally start these different things. You're changing like their attitude, you're changing how aggressive they are, you're changing like their different attributes, and then you hit play and they unwind the scene and they start talking and moving around. I was watching that part, and I was like, oh my God, these fools killed it. Servios killed it in certain ways, absolutely killed it. Okay, some more complaints I have about this, though, is this obviously is not designed with the Valve Index in mind. This is not designed with the Valve Index in mind. As I was going through this entire game, I kept seeing Vive wands. Also, like, here's another criticism. Like, Servios, look, I love you guys, and you killed it with this. You absolutely did. The Vibe and Atmosphere, you won. It's already over. Like, who won Vibe and Atmosphere? Westworld Awakening won. It's over. It's already over. No, any game could come out from here to the end of this year. It's over. They already won. Much love. But when I'm in this opening level and I'm like picking up a coffee cup or picking up a candle or picking up a photo, my hands felt like they were wooden hands, and it felt like I couldn't pick things up right. It didn't feel good at all. And it's especially after playing something like Boneworks, where you can pick everything up, you can set everything down. It felt bad to me. Like, the interactions felt bad. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is Servios, bro. Like, Servios knows this stuff. Servios has made so many VR games. Like, we need to be to a standard at this point in time. Also, Servios, people have Valve indexes. Okay, what are the most popular VR headsets known to man when it comes to PC VR? Okay, Oculus Rift, Rift S, HTC Vive, Valve Index. Servios knows this. Your game should work really nicely on all 4 of those headsets. Original HTC Vive, original CB1, Rift S, and Valve Index. It should work fine on all of them. And I should never see a Vive wand. I should never see the outline of a Vive wand. Every time I saw an outline of the Vive wand, I was like, oh my God, thank you for taking me completely out of my immersion that I was experiencing in this game. I mean, I'm just living a dream in this Westworld world. It's a dream come true. This is fan service like you've never seen in your life. This game would sell crazy headsets, man. If you went to like some kind of Westworld convention where there were thousands and thousands of Westworld fans that just love this TV show. They love every little bit of this TV show. And if you were just to put them in chapter 2, which is this chapter right here, and to have them Force them to stay in it for an hour and say, walk around, look at everything, look at the computer screens, look at the tablets, look at the dead people, look at the people that are still alive, look at everything that's going on. They're going to be like, okay, where do I buy this? Where do I buy this? Where do I sign up? Sign me up immediately. This will blow so many Westworld fans away because it is so true to the source material. It is so legit. Oh my God. But there are tremendous problems. Tremendous problems. I mentioned a number of them. But yeah, I'm pretty much in love. One other thing I did want to mention about Westworld Awakening. So this whole dying, like you die quite a bit in the game. And when you die, you come back in the lab, of course, right? And that works perfect. That works perfect in VR. And so the other thing I was thinking about was Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed would work perfect in VR because you're going between, reality and a real, reality and a fake reality. And so like that works in VR. That really works in VR. Like when you're in the Westworld part, you die and then you end up here. It really, really works. Like it's perfect for it. I mean, you feel like you're in an Android practically, when you're wearing that headset anyway. So my goodness, Servios, you outdid yourself at least. And whoever designed the table with the flickering computer information with cracks all over it, like an iPhone that has shattered glass on top of it, absolutely flawless. Absolutely flawless. That guy deserves a major raise. Okay, so let's go ahead and get off of this. I spent a lot of time on Westworld Awakening. But dude, for $10, everybody and their mama's uncle needs to buy that. And maybe what you need to do, if you don't know anything about Westworld, you might want to watch like season 1 of Westworld. Watch season 1 of Westworld, because that's part of it. I got to admit, the reason why I'm so blown away by this is one of my favorite TV shows. I actually think it could be a lot better than it really is, but I'm still a fan, and they nailed it. They nailed it. This is the best VR licensed experience by a freaking country mile. Wow, they nailed it. Okay, so what do we want to talk about now? So let's go ahead and go back to the Game of the Year awards. So like I was saying earlier, I did run out of time. I didn't get to make a little montage of the February games of the year. So unfortunately, I don't have like a little video montage of this, but we can just go ahead and pop the games on the screen. So these are the nominees for Best VR Games of February 2019. Now, The Mage's Tale for PlayStation VR is on this list, but I want to be clear. The Mage's Tale for PlayStation VR cannot win Game of the Year. It could win PlayStation VR Game of the Year, but it can't win the overall Game of the Year because The Mage's Tale has already been out and it's already participated in Game of the Year discussions. Same thing with Zing The Land Beyond. Zing The Land Beyond, I'm giving it some love because these were the best games of February, but it cannot win Game of the Year, but it could win, conceivably, PlayStation VR Game of the Year. So I just wanted to make that clear, but let's go ahead and go over these. So we got The Mage's Tale. It arrived on February 5th. We've got Angry Birds Isle of Pigs, arrived on February 7th. Zing arrived for PlayStation VR on the 12th. Eden Tomorrow. Not bad, man. Kind of bad, but it started off pretty damn good. Eden Tomorrow. Intruders Hide and Seek on February 13th. Beat Blaster by Ivanovich Games. Beat Blaster, February 15th. No love for that puppy. Dick Wild 2 arrived on February 19th. Chroma Gun VR on February 19th for PlayStation VR. It's a very PSVR heavy list. And Time Transit VR arrived on February 26th. So as you can see, January and February, not the bangers. This year started off slow, man. It didn't really get going until we got to the month of March. So yeah, February, not a lot. Like you look at this list, there's no obvious winner. Like there isn't one single game that is like, bam, oh yeah, Time Transit VR, it definitely wins February. You know, there isn't one game on this list that just jumps out and wins February. But you know what? I still had to make a decision any goddamn way. So what did I pick for February 2019? Here is my game of February 2019. Let me find it, dial it up. And my game of the month for February 2019, Chromagun VR. Yeah, buddy, Chromagun VR. By the way, there's an announcer guy that is in Chromagun VR. Damn good job. And you know what? When I'm playing Boneworks, and I was in the museum area of Boneworks, I couldn't help but think how much better Boneworks would have been if the announcer guy was more like the Chromagun VR announcer guy. That guy did a damn good job. And I think the announcer lady that is in Boneworks in the museum, like I thought that was one of the weakest aspects of Boneworks altogether. Like just not, like trying to be a snarky person, you know, like a Portal kind of a personality. Not good, man. Chromagun VR though, yes. Very snarky, very good. Now this game hit PlayStation VR. I might as well I do have a trailer for Chromagun, so I can show you guys what it looks like and talk about it for a quick second. You know, February was kind of weak. Let's be honest about it. But the cool thing about Chromagun VR, oh, actually, wait, we can hear the announcer, so you can get an example. Listen to this announcer guy. Okay, here we go. This is the announcer guy.
Hey there, you look like a smart fellow. We need somebody to field test our newest piece of paint technology. This is the Chromagun patent pending that you've heard so much about. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Chromatech, just another science company that makes people solve test chambers with an experimental gun. And so cool.
Okay, so anyway, I think that voice announcer would have been a much better choice in Boneworks, in the museum area, and also probably other parts of the game as well. So the thing that I liked about Chromagun, this game used the PlayStation aim controller, and it was very Portal-esque. It had a very Portal kind of a feel to it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So anyway, that is my game of the month for February 2019. Like I said, not the greatest month. Not the greatest month. Now, what do I do with every single month? There's going to be a runner-up choice as well. And my runner-up choice for February 2019 is Angry Birds VR Isle of Pigs. And No, Jarillo, no, thank God that voice is not in Boneworks. Okay, so that voice, the recording was terrible on that trailer. You'd have to play Chromagun to understand it. But if you played Chromagun, you would understand it if you actually heard the voice. Unfortunately, that trailer has terrible sound quality, so it probably didn't come through very well. But Angry Birds VR Isle of Pigs, pretty solid game. It's Angry Birds, but it did a good job. It was pretty solid, pretty decent. So that is going to be my runner-up pick for February 2019. So to basically recap, right now, Tabletop Gods is my game of January. Chromagun is my game of February. Runners-up, we got A Fisherman's Tale, and we've got Angry Birds VR Isle of Pigs. And so on our next episode, we're going to cover March and April, and things are going to get a hell of a lot better, let me tell you. Things are going to improve by leaps and bounds. In fact, in March, a couple of primetime bangers are going to arrive on the scene, so we'll be covering that more as these shows continue. But that is basically my Game of the Year discussion. Hello, friends. I love how Lethal Weasel Wes starts every show with hello, friends. I love that. Okay, so since Lethal Weasel is in the building, why don't we talk about a game that Lethal Weasel pumped up a little bit? Part of the reason I was excited about Deathlap, a number of VR YouTubers. So here is Deathlap. Here's Deathlap.
My show is my one.
And I ended up getting Deathlap very recently. Paid 20 bones for this puppy. And I was excited to get this game because I am a fan of Twisted Metal. And I heard all these impressions all over the internet, like Wes from Virtual Strangers, Gamertag VR. Gamertag, are you still in chat? He might be there as well. Who else? I heard, the Rendered Reality guys really like this. Okay, so full disclosure, guys, I've played this about 20 minutes. I spent 20 minutes in Deathlap. I wanted to get back in there. I wanted to try a couple of more games. So I do not have a valid take on this game. My only take on this game is that I fired it up, I started it, I played one race, and I bounced the hell out of Dodge. And I've got complaints about this. This just didn't do anything for me. Okay, did you guys watch the most recent episode of F Reality? Remember how Rowdy Guy was talking about Boneworks and he's like, yeah, Boneworks just doesn't do it for me. Well, it's kind of very similar for me. This game just didn't do it for me, man. I played this game on the Rift. Now, I got to give it more of a chance. Maybe I'll change my tune completely. Maybe I'll completely flip-flop. Maybe I'll be in love with Deathlap. But I got to admit, after playing it for like 15 minutes, I'm like, what the F was Gamertag, Wes, Rendered Reality? What were these guys smoking? Because I don't see anything about this game that is, I don't get it. Now, I'm not a multiplayer guy. So, that's a big part of it. But I'll play like Wipeout HD multiplayer. I'll play Twisted Metal multiplayer. Like, I'm not adverse to playing a multiplayer game. I'll play multiplayer. One of the things I noticed about Deathlap when I was in it, so I'm playing it on my Oculus CV1. I'm looking at the tracks and stuff. Like, I'm looking at this ramp that goes up, and just the graphics look like PlayStation 2. The graphics look like PlayStation 2. Okay? I know that's overly harsh, incredibly harsh. Maybe this is more of like an Oculus Quest game. Maybe I should be playing it on the Oculus Quest. Maybe I shouldn't be. Bottom line, I don't know what anybody was thinking with this game. So I got to give it more of a chance. I just very first quick impressions, was not feeling this at all. And I was excited to go into it. It's a damn good thing I didn't ask for a key for this game, because it would have not worked out very nicely if I asked for a key for this game, because I don't know, man. I guess I got to go back in. I got to play it more. I do understand that there's like a lot of subtleties to the gameplay. You got to learn how to like use your shields and all this stuff. I thought the shields were kind of dumb though. Like, I activated my shields. It's a bunch of umbrellas all over the place. I'm like, really? A bunch of umbrellas is my shield? Okay. I don't know. Didn't work for me. I definitely need to play it some more. I need to give it a fair shot. I paid $20 for it, so I'm stuck. I'm in on it. So I guess I'll play a few more races. But the other thing is, like, I had no idea there's no single player whatsoever. Or am I wrong? Because I was in the single player area. Because this is what I would do. A normal game like this, like a Wipeout HD, a Twisted Metal or whatever. Okay, yeah, I understand that multiplayer is the whole point of the game. I understand that. But even if I was like a multiplayer lunatic, I would want to play all the tracks as a single player. I'd want to play all the tracks as a single player so I can learn the tracks. I can learn the controls. I can learn the special moves. I can learn all the different things I need to learn and then go into multiplayer. Isn't that the way everybody else does it? That's the way I do it. Like, if I'm going to in any kind of a racing game, I don't go immediately into the multiplayer. I go single player. I get a feel for the tracks. I get a feel for the power-ups. I get a feel for the guns. There's no single player. I couldn't find it. I could not find the single player in this game. What I did, like, I was trying to do single player and it just kept putting me in the tutorial. I just kept doing the tutorial over and over. I'm like, Like, where the hell is the single player? Maybe I did something wrong, but I could not find a single player. So then I went into multiplayer, and there's a bunch of dudes, heavy breathing, loud, obnoxious. Like, it just wasn't a good experience, man. I'm sorry. Was not a good experience, but I didn't really give this a fair shot. I really did not give this a fair shot. Lethal Weasel says you can totally play single player. That's exactly what I did. Man, I don't know what I was doing wrong, because all I could select, like, it said something about choosing different tracks. I tried hitting every button. I tried moving my thumbstick back and forth. I could not select any other track. It was just a tutorial over and over and over again. So I guess I'll have to go back in there and try to figure it out, because I could not get in. I don't know what was working, what was going wrong there. But anyway, that is Death Lap. Okay, did I have anything else I wanted to get into before I bounce out of here? I was going to talk a little bit about Boneworks real quick. I got to get out of here. We've been going for a while. I went pretty long on Westworld, probably way too long on Westworld. But let's see. Let's talk a little bit about Boneworks just for a quick second. So, I've played more and more of Boneworks. I got to admit, though, guys, Westworld Awakening is the only thing I want to play. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, Boneworks was the only thing I wanted to play, and I was so locked into Boneworks, and I would be at work thinking about Boneworks and looking forward to getting off work so I could go back into Boneworks. Now I feel that way about Delos. Like, I want to get into those labs of Delos. I want to look at the computer screens. I just want to marvel at the fan service that was done there. So amazing. So anyway, the last time I did play Boneworks, basically I finally got past this part that I was stuck at, this one turret. And I got a little bit further. I got to this one part where you're climbing all around, and that part right there where there's like a meat grinder. I basically got to that part where there's a meat grinder and you're climbing and you have to move this thing along. You have to jump from one thing to another. And so I finally kind of got the idea of what everybody was complaining about in terms of the climbing. Like, a lot of people were complaining about the climbing in Boneworks, and I didn't understand what they were talking about at first, because all the parts of the game I was in, the climbing was perfectly fine. I didn't really have a problem with it. But then when you get into that one part, yeah, you're climbing a lot of different little areas. And the biggest complaint I have with Boneworks in general is I still do not know how to climb up on the ledge of something and like flip myself over. So imagine that there is like a large, like a fence, but it's like a concrete fence that's like this tall. And like you put your hands, you get up on it, but how do you get over? How do you get over the fence? I don't know how to do it. I've tried everything. I've turned on the little crouch button. I'm like trying to get my hands up here. I'm trying to hit the crouch button to like jump up and get over the fence. I can't do it. I cannot jump over a fence, period. And that had me really stuck. And I don't know what to do, man. It's way too complicated. Whatever way you need to do to get over a fence is way too complicated, man. They made it way harder than it needs to be. Like, if you get your hands up on a ledge and you push up on a ledge, you should then be able to reach over more like this, and then you just automatically go over. But it doesn't do that. I'm just stuck up on a ledge. I'm trying to hit crouch. I'm jumping up, and I can't get over there, man. And that really frustrated the hell out of me. Also, the checkpointing is not good. We already knew that, so you can be playing a long time in this game, and you could be going for like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours in a level. You die, and then you go back to the beginning. I mean, that sucks, but I kind of was aware of that. I heard about that really quick. It actually didn't bother me in the beginning. I didn't really have any problems where I lost like hours and hours of gameplay. And then I heard about that, so I knew about the checkpointing problem, so I was really aware of it. So basically, if you're going to play Boneworks before they finally fix this checkpointing thing, you really need to have like about 2.5 hours of free time. Like, you don't want to jump into Boneworks if you've only got a half an hour. You definitely don't want to do that. You need to have like a solid 2.5 hours of playing this game. But I still love Boneworks. It's incredible, and I probably need to get back to it. It's just Westworld freaking took over for a minute there. But I'll definitely get back into Boneworks. I mean, the thing about Boneworks, like the thing that I'm ranting and raving about, like earlier this week, I tweeted out about Boneworks. I said, look, if you're underwhelmed by Boneworks, maybe try playing the game. Like, take your time, relax. Like I wanted to plead with Rowdy Guy. Okay, so I tweeted this out. Like when I tweeted that, I had just listened to the F Reality podcast, and I listened to Rowdy Guy, and Rowdy Guy was like, yeah, I played for an hour. It's just not my type of game. And I was like, no, Rowdy Guy, please play this game a couple of hours more, because very early in Boneworks, like if you only play an hour of Boneworks, yeah, you might not like it at all. I don't think you find the brilliance of Boneworks until you've been in it for a couple of hours. Like I think in one, like I could have a negative impression of Boneworks after 1 hour. And now it's one of my favorite games of this entire year for sure. It is absolutely in my top 5 favorite VR games of this year. And man, I was thinking, dude, no, take your time, relax. You got to give this game several hours, and you got to take your time, pick things up, move things around, explore the world. There's no rush. You don't have to finish the game right away. Just relax, take your time. That's what I was kind of trying to say with it. And I really do love this game. And I've had some encounters with enemies, and they were really powerful encounters, because when you're in this world and you're moving things around and you're picking things up and you're bringing a table over here and you're jumping on that table, and then you're stacking a box on the table, you're jumping onto the box, jumping over this, doing all kinds of things, you start to buy into the world. The world starts to seem a lot more real to like your lizard brain. You start buying into it more. And then when you have a freaky ass encounter with one of these enemies, it can be startling, man. It can startle the crap out of you, because the thing is, you're more bought into this world. This world seems realer to you. When I go into like Westworld Awakening, and I'm in the cowboy area, and I'm trying to pick up different things off the table, and things aren't picking up, my hands aren't right, I see the outline of a Vive controller, immersion's just completely gone. But in this game, you're picking so many things up, you're moving things around. I opened this one door, I went and got a crate, I set the crate there to block the door. Like little things like that, things that you would do in real life, actually work in this game. And so it starts to convince my brain, wait a minute, this is more of a realistic reality that I'm in here. And that's why I think the enemy encounters that I had were way more powerful, way more frightening. And I almost felt like I was in a fight to the death. Like this one head crab jumped at me, and I was like taking my hammer and smacking it, and it was jumping. Like this was like the very first encounter I had with a head crab. But it was like I was in a life or death situation, and it's because this world just has more of a real feel to me. So anyway, that's a little bit on Boneworks. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I mean, the one good thing that we can say, folks, we've got so many good games this year. We are so effing spoiled. It's such an incredible time. I mean, so many freaking good games to play. So many games on sale. There's so many good deals that are out there. Man, we are very much spoiled. I mean, I just covered the games of January and February, and they're looking kind of lame, right? Like, we don't really have a game of the year in those months. But wait till we start covering March and April and May and June. And then when we get to the back half of the year, nothing but banger after banger after banger. Incredible year. 2019 is absolutely awesome when it comes to VR gaming. All right, well, that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode of VR 365 Live. I will, of course, be back on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. We will be covering the games of March and the games of April. So look forward to that. More thoughts on Westworld, probably more thoughts on Boneworks, more thoughts on Deathlap. Might give it a decent actual chance this time. Didn't really give it a totally decent chance. Definitely will do that. So we'll get into that on Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see everybody then. All right, well, that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode. Everybody have a good one. Take it easy. Later.